going to be gone while I'm eating. I'm just going to be gone for a second to grab the
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE, welcome back to the channel that shoots stupidity in the face at close range. Thank you guys for joining me once again for a look into the world of stupid, and we're less than 20 days into 2020 and there's been a fucking lot of stupid already. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, Team Skeptic. How are you doing this evening, sir?
What up? Doing good. Didn't get a lot of sleep. Of course, last night we had a great debate, and then this morning I had to go with my kid somewhere to deal with with a tournament that he's in, a Pokemon tournament. Which
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was an international tournament. Unfortunately for him, he's put so much into preparing for this tournament that he really drained himself to where he made a couple of mental mistakes. But yesterday he was in a Pro-Am tournament and he made it all the way to the semifinals. So, and he lost to just somebody I know, yeah.
Sounds
he's
like
doing good.
Sounds like your son and my son would get on, because my son doesn't shut up about Pokemon.
Right. But, yeah, go ahead.
Also with us tonight we have our special guest, the Conspiracist, Brian Kirby. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Very well, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Welcome to the show. Now, ever since I first saw one of your videos, I've been kind of obsessed with you. I've watched all your videos a good few times. They're so easy to binge. Now, if people haven't seen any of the Conspiracist video yet, well, why don't you introduce yourself and your character and just tell people about what you do?
I've written a satirical mockumentary, basically, just a comedy series. It's not about debunking. It's not about insults. It's purely something I've written because that's what I do and for my own enjoyment. And it's something that it kind of started off with a friend of mine used to get annoyed with a guy that he knew that was a flat earther, and I just started to wind my friend up, as you do in England. Just play up to this character. I just started telling him that I thought the earth was flat and stuff, and he was like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I think there's some logic in it," and just started winding him up, and then that became the character. And I just thought I was doing other bits of YouTube at the time, just as sort of a test kind of channel, as it were, like a throwaway thing, just to get used to being on YouTube. And then it still exists, but then I made this channel and writ a narrative and really enjoying it, and I'm really, really enjoying being part of the community as well.
Yeah, like I said, I really enjoy your stuff. The first time I watched one of your videos, I genuinely thought you were a flat earther, and I was like, I'm going to debunk the shit out of this fucking idiot. So what you do is really well. And what we're going to do to start off the show is I'm going to play the people the first episode of The Conspiracist, which was the first one that I saw, and it's amazing. And I encourage everybody to go and subscribe to The Conspiracist. His link is in the description. So just for the next 10 minutes, guys, please enjoy the first episode of Brian Kirby, Truth Researcher, The Conspiracist. Here we go.
I would call myself a truth researcher. No, not a flat earther, definitely not. Because the term flat earther has got all these negative associations. It suggests that we're dumb, blind, susceptible, gullible, and we believe anything we see on the internet, and that's just not what I'm about at all, really. Yeah, it's definitely flat. How do I know it's flat? Well, if you look closely at the horizon of Brighton, you can quite clearly, on a day much clearer than this, admittedly, see France. I mean, you've got to like really want to see it and really try hard and imagine it's there, but you can see it. If you have a basic understanding of the second law of thermodynamics, it's really obvious. I mean, all right, okay, not everyone has the education that I do, but do your own research. I'm not going to spoon feed people. That's my number one rule.
I try and get out into the world as much as possible to tell people that we don't live on a spinning ball, we didn't come from monkeys, and that basically nothing we think we know is as it seems. For far too long now, we've been conditioned to just blindly trust what we're told by the news and media and mainstream science, whereas I prefer to do my own research. So, yeah, I've subscribed to a few YouTube channels to help me get on with that and basically work it all out for myself, really.
Yeah, my main focus / responsibility is the YouTube channel, where I bring people the information they need. Should probably put a subscribe link for everyone who wants to subscribe just down here. Cool. Yeah, I try and do at least one video a week. Sometimes I do a bonus episode if there's something new in Flat Earth. I know there's people relying on me. I see it as a public service, yeah, sure. Kind of like the post office, I suppose. Or fireman. See, science just keeps throwing maths at us and we say, thanks so much, that's interesting. Look over there. See, water always finds its level. Doesn't curve. You put water into a cup, it comes the cup. Water into a bottle, comes the bottle. Put water into a teapot, comes the teapot. Be like water.
Here's a waterline experiment I did last week on my channel.
See? Level. It's been alleged that you can prove the curvature of the Earth because you can't see the base of those wind turbines. I know. Wind turbines can be submerged. Apparently there's some sort of tour you can take to see the wind turbines up close, but I don't think they're kind of shit in my life, quite frankly. I know what. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dark forces at work in the world. The obvious ones are the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the corruption in the school system and our politics. And to a lesser extent, you've got the vegans and the Kardashians. Picture of a wind turbine there on top of that roof, isn't it? And in the picture, there's no base. Yeah, there's obviously loads of YouTube videos and memes you can use as evidence. I would advise you to do your own research as well though, but you can usually get by on YouTube videos and memes against most scientists. So yeah, if you do that kind of research as a minimum, you'll be good. You'll be good.
go up in the clouds. Show you what pilots see, allegedly. Yeah, I have had first-hand experience of the downsides of vaccinations. So when I was little, right, I was playing with this kid, Jeff, from the estate. We were climbing trees down the park, day after he had his measles jab. So we were climbing trees, out of nowhere, chat himself. Yeah. There was no hiding it, because he was above me in the tree at the time. So. That shit stays with you. I think the main problem with trying to communicate with Globers is it's too much of an oxymoron. Oxymoron. What do you mean? You said what moron? Oxymoron. You can quite clearly see there. No curvature. Video games have never lied to me in the past. I don't see why they're going to start now. No, the globe Earth lie isn't the only popular mass cultural delusion. There's Area 51, there's the moon landing, there's the vegan conspiracy, which I think is concocted by the farmers. It's a relatively new one, but I'm looking at the farmers and it's got something to do with sweet corn. I've never trusted sweet corn. It's up to something. Why is it so determined to make it through our digestive system undigested? Sweet corn's got an agenda. And you can't fucking kill it either. It's like the cockroach of vegetables. The only way to destroy it is to squash it. Yeah, I think the key to true awakening is to expand your mind. So that's why I've joined this brain training program with this brain coach I met online. All you got to do is pay a fee, and 90 days of training, and I'm not kidding you, you grow taller, your brain expands, you put on loads of dense muscle tissue. Essentially, we're the next stage of human evolution. You've got Neanderthals, Homo erectus, Homo sapien, and us.
Yes, that is The Conspiracist. If you would like to see more of it, the link to his channel is in the description. Now, as a testament to how good of an actor you are, there's many people in the chat that are, this guy's a fucking idiot. Let me turn off that. So, yeah, even now, because they've obviously come in a little bit late and they don't realise that you're not serious. Guys, this isn't actually a flat earther. This is all satire, but a testament to how good you are. Even people in the chat now seem to think that you're serious.
Thank you. I can't see the chat, so.
Yeah, like I said, when I first watched that, the first bit where you say about, I don't like to be called a flat earther, I'm a truth researcher, but it's flat. I watched that and I paused it and I was like, fuck me, this is going to be a brilliant video to debunk. Is there any particular flat earthers that you channeled for that?
No, I like to think of him. Brian's a character I wrote. I like to think of him as an amalgam. You know, he's a combination of several. Some that he's definitely not about because he's not an aggressive sort of guy. But there's a few, like, less so in that episode, but in some of them you see him getting quite narcissistic and arrogant, and I think that's kind of Mark Sargent in him. The baseball cap was a Sargent thing, like,
Yeah.
deliberately, sort of. And the smugness was him as well, and obviously there's the hammer bouncing. So we know that's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team definitely knows who the hammer bouncing guy is, don't you, team?
Yeah, that'd be JM Truth.
No. It's your best friend. Oh, so
Yeah, it's funny. Craven Mordick in the chat asked me. He said, "Did you and Nathan come to an agreement?" No, I didn't. I refused to respect that piece of shit. So that means that I didn't shake his hand. I didn't even acknowledge him outside of what was necessary in the debate.
yeah.
Talked to all the other flat earthers, but not him.
No, he's a piece of human trash. How do you, Brian? How do you think your character would fare in a debate?
My character,
Yeah,
he wouldn't lose because he's a narcissistic idiot.
I think I'd like to debate him.
It would be brilliant. Obviously, we couldn't put it off now that I'm for real, as it were, because enough people are going to know straight away. I don't know if I could do it live, to be honest with you. I've had a lot of questions about do I have trouble corpsing, because I film a lot of it on my own. I don't really, because no one's setting me off. But I think live, I would do okay, but I would just end up. I mean, did you see the one where I was flat smacking the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually a friend of mine. That's not a random guy. But I mean, the character's way of dealing with any sort of dispute is just to ignore it and blindly rather than getting irate, just ignore it and crack on as if nothing was said. You know, as if he didn't hear any facts. It goes in one ear and out the other if it doesn't confirm his beliefs.
Yeah. I think I'd very much enjoy watching him in a debate. Did you see any of Team Skeptic's debate with Nathan Thompson last night?
No, I didn't. I got an early night last night.
Oh. So, team, if I was going to ask you to describe your debate in 5 words.
Painful. He dodged a lot of the one thing that pissed me off the most about that whole thing is he didn't address any of my points. So what's a word that I can use? Dodgeball. We'll just call it dodgeball. Let's see. Fun. I had a good time doing it. I would love to. I told James that if he ever wanted somebody to just go around and do the live debates, I'd be more than happy to volunteer myself for that, because that was fun. So fun. Shit, I don't know. James was between us, so James was cool as fuck, man.
James
I got an
looked
opportunity to
terrified.
meet fucking Steven Steen. I met Steven Steen. I met the troll of all fucking trolls in the world, and
I know.
that was so terrifying because I met Steven Steen, and then uncomfortable because I was wearing the mankini the entire time, and we got cut off at the end, so I couldn't really show off the mankini. So yeah, those would be my 5 words.
Fair enough. I had a good time watching. It was definitely entertaining. There was quite a few people that seemed to think Nathan got under your skin. How do you respond to that?
No, he didn't get okay, so this is frustrating. Yeah, that's a good word. That'd be, if I replaced any word, Caliban, frustrating. Frustrating would replace dodgeball. But no, it wasn't that. Okay, I'm a very animated person. Even now talking to you guys about this, I just want to increase my energy level. I want to get into the thing. I want it to be entertaining for everybody watching. At no point did I lose my temper. At no point did he have me on tilt. At no point did I actually have any anger or was truly mad at him. I am animated, and I don't like when people avoid questions. And there were several times when I said, what about this? And he went off talking about something else, and I'm like, no, what about this? And yes, it was live, and it's hard to moderate all that because James is doing his best. But Nathan would always try to take it away from the topic I was trying to bring. The points I brought up in my opening were all scientific points. I didn't bring up any kind of, like, I didn't use any kind of assumptions of the shape of the Earth. I didn't do, everything I brought up was a natural observation, something that anybody could do from home, you know, or research themselves and see that other people have done it. So it wasn't that I was truly upset, but I do get like, I get into it, you know, and I guess that's when I get into it. To some people who are more relaxed at home and maybe they might see that as being upset or anything like that, but no, I really wasn't upset.
So,
I was just into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to win. I'm
course
there
you
to
do.
win. I fight, you know. That's what it's all about. It's about winning. It's about having fun, and that's how I have fun.
So one of the evidence that you've been using, the Lucidia lusoca, did I say that right?
Yeah, ciliate luxotus.
Cilius luxotus. Can you just present that evidence to the conspiracist? And I'd like to hear his character respond to that.
All right, I'll try.
So go on, team.
Okay, let's see. I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on. Martin H. says, did anything... I'm pulling this up right now, but he said, did anything happen to wind you up before the late start? No, not at all. I didn't talk to him, not one bit. I was a bit late because James needed to use my camera, which is why I don't have it right now. I'm allowing him to take it with him while he's on his little Texas trip. But I allowed James to take my camera, so I had to go back to get the camera so that he could use it for the debate. So I was a little bit late, but I was only late to help James out. And then when I got there, we just I got into my artistic encounter shirt and hat, and we pretty much started 20 minutes after that. Said hi to all my friends that were there. He definitely had more flat earthers there than I had people who came out. Tex Digi came out. Let's see, JL Warren came out. Athens 619 got an awesome opportunity to meet him in person. It was amazing. So my pre-debate was really dealing with all of them and then getting James the link to my Google Drive so I could present the evidence. Oh, that's where it's at. It's in my Google Drive.
Okay,
Let me go
cool.
grab that real quick.
All right, to get yourself into character, Brian, this is an excellent evidence of gravity, and I'm going to enjoy your response because it's better than Nathan's. Get the pipe, perfect.
I mean, he didn't even bring this up. I showed. Can I just do the whole presentation of gravity, the accelerometer with the bubbles and
do it.
Falling, finished with the ciliate luxotus? Okay.
Do it.
Great. That's
Right, so this is a tiny test debate between Team Skeptic and truth researcher Brian Kirby.
Okay, so give me one. I'm getting my presentation loaded up for 1 second. All right, so here's the presentation for gravity there, conspiracist, you flat earth idiot. And I gave my bell to Athens 619, so unfortunately we don't have the bell. Let's see. We'll go to preview. All right, so.
Okay, the blue line is showing.
Let me also, did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. Did you hear it come through?
Yes,
okay.
we did.
So I want to make sure that you guys hear that. All right. So this right here is, comes from a video of, I believe this is Action Lab, I think, that I got this video from. But this video is him showing an accelerometer on your phone, which everybody has. We all have smartphones. You can download an accelerometer that will show you the acceleration in 3 different axes. Okay. So when the cell phone is under just the influence of gravity, there's a test mass on the inside that is being slightly pulled down. It puts the it really becomes like almost non-inertial in the frame of reference. It can be measured. inside of the frame of reference of the accelerometer. And it measures at 1 G at the surface of the Earth. Now, when you drop the cell phone, it goes into free fall. When it goes into free fall, it then has a second force acting upon it, and the second force that's acting upon it is due to the acceleration of the phone. So when the phone is accelerating towards the surface of the Earth, it creates it's kind of like in your car when you accelerate, you feel the pull backwards. The same thing happens to the test mass. It feels the pull upward in the opposite direction of gravity, and it's exactly the same as gravity. So when dropped, the phone will actually read 0 Gs. And here I'll just show this, and then we'll go on to the next piece.
Showing that I have 1 G of force. Let's drop my phone. 3, 2.
Okay, so right there during the acceleration phase, during the acceleration phase, you can see that the phone actually reads as if it's not accelerating, and that's due to the force of gravity in one direction and the acceleration in the other direction. Okay, then the second part, just to show you this is same concept.
So
let me
get
full
rid of-
screen this. Same concept. Bubbles rise due to the buoyant force. Buoyant force actually has the equation, or has the variable for acceleration in it, which is G in this situation. And what this does is this is what causes bubbles to rise because of the downward force of acceleration and the buoyant force relying on that. Now, when dropped, again, you have the force of gravity pulling down and you have the accelerating force going up. So when this is in free fall, what you don't have is anything for the buoyant force. There's no acceleration for the buoyant force to align itself. So two things will happen. Number one, the bubbles won't rise. And number two, they won't be squished as they are due to the pressure of the water on the inside. They won't be squished. They'll actually form more, they'll be more circular. And this video shows that. One
Rid
second.
of that, I'll remove the box altogether and just attach the GoPro to the water bottle. You won't be able to see the bubbles quite as well, but you can still see what's going on. And there'll be a lot less wind resistance, so a lot closer to 0 G. Let's see what happens. Okay, water bottle drop without a box. 3, 2, 1, drop. So you can see at the bottom of the bottle, the air bubbles in the water just completely stop and just stand still. And another thing to notice is notice that before I drop it, the bubbles are all squished because the pressure on the bottom is greater than the pressure on top, so it squishes the bubbles. But when I drop it, since there's about equal pressure on all sides of the bubble, it's almost round.
Okay, and then the final piece that I want to show you is this right here. This is what's called ciliate luxotis, and I will let it play through, but basically this is an organic accelerometer. There's a lot of flat earthers that will be out there that will say that we can't use the accelerometers in our phone because, you know, NASA and everything programs what it's supposed to say. Whatever bullshit they want to come up with, whatever, that's fine. This is an organic accelerometer. This is an accelerometer that's not built into or built by man or anything else. This is a single cell organism right here. So I'll just let this play and it'll explain. Now, it's not an actual accelerometer, but it's the same concept as an accelerometer. There's a granule at the end of a hair-like filament, and that granule, because of the force of gravity, detects which way is up, which way is down. And it needs to exist within a certain band of water where the oxygen level is kind of like the Goldilocks zone. It's not too much, not too little. So if it finds itself in, let's say, too much of an oxygenated environment, which would be too close to the surface, it would need to know which way was down to get out of that environment to get back to the more optimal environment. Now I'm going to let this play, and then I'll let you defend
The ciliate
and say what's
luxotis
wrong with
is
my
a
arguments.
common resident of different aquatic habitats, but they prefer a distinct zone in the water, a Goldilocks zone for oxygen. They like the concentration to be not too high and not too low. And in a body of water, unless something weird is going on, the oxygen concentration is higher at the top and lower toward the bottom. Because of its specific oxygen concentration preference, Luxotis needs to know which way is up and which way is down so it can find just the right spot. But how could a single-celled organism know up from down? Well, Loxodus can sense gravity. It has organelles called Muller vesicles that each contain a spherical mineral granule, the Muller body, attached to a hair-like cilium. Sorry these friends zip around so quick, it can be hard to get a good look. These granules, the Muller bodies, are actually pulled down by gravity, and it's believed that this pulling causes sensory signals to be transmitted to the cell through the cilium. So Loxodus, despite being tiny and despite being just a single cell, has an organ very much like our inner ear, allowing it to sense up from down.
Okay, so those three proofs right there are very, very strong evidence to suggest that gravity is, in fact, a force that we detect in our reality.
How do you respond, Mr. Truth Researcher?
I see what you've done there. You've cleverly used a device that reminds everyone of their childhood. In the first one, I want to point out that's clearly an Etch-a-Sketch. Next. Second one. Can we just have a look at the second one again, please?
Yeah, 1 second.
Oh, brilliant response to the first one. I'll just put you on full screen again for a sec, team.
So to get rid of that, I'll remove the box altogether and just attach
Hold on
the
1
GoPro.
second. Let me get it over there. No, you're good. You're good. I mean, let me get my video up. I forgot it was showing my avatar.
So to get rid of that, I'll remove the box altogether and just attach the GoPro to the water bottle. You won't be able to see the bubbles quite as well, but you can still see what's going on. And there'll be a lot less wind resistance, so a lot closer to 0 G. Let's see what happens. Okay, water bottle drop without a box. 3, 2, 1, drop.
In
So
this
you can
bit,
see at the
you can
bottom
quite
of the
clearly
bottle, the air bubbles in the
see
water.
a goldfish in there. That's a fairground goldfish.
I see it.
in a plastic bag. So I don't know how you've done it.
Yeah.
But you've cleverly manipulated it. Well done for trickery. However, you're not calling me. I accuse skeptic. Next.
Yeah, that took hours of CGI to get the goldfish out. I am completely impressed by your ability to detect it, and hats off to you, man. Now, I want to see. I'm honest to see if you can catch the trickery with the next one. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the volume down. I'll play it, but I'll just turn the volume down since everybody already heard
The
it.
answer's in the first line.
Go ahead and explain what's going on here.
Okay.
All right.
So what's happening here then, Brian?
This, when the audio's on, you can quite. It's like they've hidden the message in the actual dialogue. This is a cutscene from Resident Evil. I played the whole
Hold on, I'll go
series.
back. You said it was hidden in the first line, right? It was hidden in the first line. Okay, we'll turn the audio up and let the audience say. You tell me when to pause it.
The ciliate Loxodus is a common resident of different
There you go.
aquatic habitats.
Both kills are evil.
You know, I'm going to
hidden
be
it in
honest
there.
with you,
Nice
conspiracist.
try. However,
I had no idea that anybody would ever figure that out, and you did. First try, bud. I mean, geez, hats off.
Too smart for us. Too smart for us.
Too smart for us fucking globers. Too smart for us fucking globers. Now I do want to say something that when the bottle is dropped, it's not truly 0 G because there is air resistance and there is other things. It's similar. It's as close as we're going to get to 0 G dropping a bottle through the atmosphere. So I'm not watching the chat or anything, but I'm sure there's somebody out there screaming, "Oh, but it's not exactly 0." No, it's not exactly 0 G. You're right. But when I say it's 0 G, it's because it's practically 0 G for us. So
Is gravity even a thing?
Well, I think Creaky Blinder's video explained it last night with was it Margaret?
What did Creaky say?
Oh, I won't describe the picture. It might sound disrespectful to the image. Am I staying in character still? Because I haven't really covered Gravity as a character.
No, I think you did pretty well answering. I mean, it's an excellent example of how flat earthers can hand wave dismiss any evidence. Saying that the first one was an Etch-a-Sketch caught me totally off guard, but it's something that I can imagine Nathan Thompson saying to me.
Yeah, it's just an Etch-a-Sketch
yeah.
with a magnet underneath, just moving it around. Like that's the explanation I could fully see someone giving. To be honest.
Yeah, you're so good at doing it, and the thing is, it's almost hard to tell your fake stupidity apart from the real stupidity of flat earthers.
Yeah, I'll take it as a compliment, really.
Yeah, well, it is because you've managed to portray them so realistically that both team and I wanted to debunk you, and half of the people in the chat have been going, "Oh, this guy is an obvious Poe. Oh, look at this stupid idiot." So well done. And again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Conspiracist, his link is in the description. And you should definitely go and check him out. And I said to you before we started that the way that you do it almost reminds me of The Office, with that kind of mockumentary type real life feel to it. And I could see it ending up on Netflix or something quite easily.
I mean, the idea was to. So I mean, you can see how he's trying to pretend to the people watching. He's actually in a documentary, that someone's that interested in what he's got to say, that there's a film crew following him around. But that's the narcissism side of things. That's kind of why I wrote it like that. And it also gives me, I'm sitting on my own doing it most of the time, so it also sort of gives me a way of prompting interactions with people. I mean, yeah, I'm a writer. Well, it's hard to say I am a writer because I'm not getting paid for it. It was what I studied in. I've actually been a bartender for 17 years, like a Flair bartender, hence the trick in one of the videos.
Nice.
But it gave me loads of practice in talking out my arse. So now I want to sort of,
You're good at it.
Yeah, my goal is to
you're almost as good as
try
me.
and take it somewhere and have someone put it on a channel, ideally, like a TV channel would be ideal. But at the same time, I'm stuck in that sort of place where I'm like, well, if I go to someone with this idea, they've got no loyalty to me. They could just go, thanks very much, we'll have that. So yeah, I'm happy the way we're going so far at the moment. Really, I've got more series planned and stuff. But yeah, like when I do get people saying Poe, because I actually didn't know what it meant at first, and then I googled it, and it's the logic of someone overdoing the joke too much to the point where they don't admit it, so it becomes counterproductive to the reason they did the joke in the first place. Because I've always admitted that I am acting, and I've written this is all scripted. It doesn't really apply, but I get why people have gone there, but it's technically not Poe because Poe's the point of the term Poe is the counterproductive.
Yeah.
You make the point of you doing it in the first place redundant, whereas I've written a comedy, I've written a documentary.
So
I've always said that.
What do you think of flat earthers in general, outside of your character? What's your general opinion on people like Nathan Thompson, Nathan Oakley, Sleeping Warrior?
I haven't. I'm sure we all suffer from this to an extent where we don't want to watch too much of their stuff because, one, I know a lot of people don't want to watch them to give them views, but it's quite a lot to take in as well. There's a lot of if you absorb too much of this kind of content, it's quite a weight sometimes. So I don't watch a great deal of them. I mean, I watched Behind the Curve, but that was after I was already watching you guys anyway. Well, I mean, the general debunkers community. Flat earthers in general, I think it's a psychological thing. There's a lot of similarities between anyone who goes into this pack mentality, not pack's the wrong term. So I've looked into like the far right, for example, indoctrination and extremist religious people, like radical religions and stuff like that. And if you look at psychologists talking about this sort of thing, there's the one common factor they all seem to have is a sense of a goal or a belonging or a group of people, like a cause. Like I think human beings need a cause, and when people get hold of an idea like this, if they're already a bit lost, suddenly you haven't got a bunch of people outcasted them to the fringes of society, and suddenly they've got a social circle again. So of course you're going to be you're going to start being more affectionate towards the people that give you endorphins, making you happy. I've empathy in a nutshell. I don't ever look at really any of them and go, you're a proper nasty piece of work. I have thought that actually, but I don't like just blurting out names and attacking people, because I don't know people. That's one thing, everyone needs to bear in mind. Like, no one knows the flat earthers who slander certain people, like debunkers and ex-flat earthers. They don't know anyone. We don't know them. There's definitely some very nice people that are flat earthers. Most of them are really nice, like as people. More the viewers rather than the actual cult leaders, like Debate, for example. He gets on my nerves because he's just hiding somewhere, and he's just distanced himself so much that he's just. He reminds me. Have you guys heard of a guy called David Wolf?
Yeah.
He is a snake oil salesman, anti-vaxxer.
Avocado.
Wolf. So yeah, what he's done is he's got about 12 different platforms, and 10 out of the 12 are things like broccoli makes you feel better, get more sunlight,
but it does.
Breathe in the fresh air.
Eat broccoli.
Makes sense.
I feel good when I.
Yeah, and then the last couple of ones is just like, gravity's a toxin. We just spend an hour a day hanging upside down like a bat. That's something he says. But what it does is he gets loads of these really nice sort of. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I said David Wolf is an idiot.
Yeah, he sucks people in that definitely didn't look. What's the best way to describe it? He tricked a bunch of people.
Well, okay, so here's my problem with him, right? When you get somebody who's in a desperate situation and having a medical ailment that that it isn't 100% guaranteed to be treated by science or by medicine. When you get something like that, and you've got David Wolf over there going, well, come try this healing water I have. It's 1/10 of the price of your medical treatments. But what you don't understand is you're buying fucking water. You're buying water fucking 1,000 times at a 1,000 times markup just so he can call it healing water, and he blesses it with his chi. Now get the fuck out of here. That shit doesn't heal anybody.
Yeah, exactly. He's to an extent, he's preying on vulnerable people. Like, he's doing it quite brazenly in a lot of ways. But you get a lot of. You don't have to be following David Wolf to be indoctrinated, because there's loads of people that don't get to the deep, dark, sinister side of that guy specifically.
But don't you think that a lot of flat earthers are also preying on people in that way? Because let's face it, let's look at someone like Nathan Oakley, right, who quite clearly knows that the Earth is a globe, and is just doing it so he can keep his flat Earth debate going. He is preying on vulnerable people. He is being a modern day snake oil salesman.
Yeah, specifically the guys that have got the bigger channels, like the Three Wise Nathans. They're a bit. They are on the border of, well, they are over the line of exploitation, especially people like Dubai. But I do think there's plenty of them. Plenty of them think they're doing the right thing. Plenty of them are so hook, line, and sinker. And one thing that I think is really important for anyone trying to debate with them, the guys that are sort of open-minded, to remember is no one's ever gonna. A conversation never happens with someone going, "You're an idiot," and then going, "Yeah, good point. I never thought of it like that." I realise some people have got to the end of their tether with certain people, but the ones like there's a way to sort of bring them round. You know what I mean? Like, and those the Nathans, and they're not going to change. They are blatantly in it for the money. Yeah, I think further down the line, as it were, it should be handled with a bit of empathy, because no one's going to turn around and accept that they were wrong if they feel like they're going to be ridiculed further for doing so. I mean, I like to think that everyone's given a good example of Seek Through, Speak Through, how nice everyone is within. Well, I like to think that it's good that we can show that. But I don't know, it's just something that I think anyone should bear in mind when
I find it hard not to ridicule them, because it's not just that they're wrong, it's that they're so proud that they're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I know some people have had so much more experience with getting abuse from them as well. So I do understand, if someone's been on the receiving end of constant abuse for a year and a half, 2 years, you're going to feel like, just do one. But yeah, I mean, because I actually think there's a lot of similarities between people who believe these sorts of things and serious mental health problems like paranoid schizophrenia. Like, they actually have a different perception of reality, and that's why no one wants to be horrible to someone that is struggling, shall we say.
Yeah, I've come to see it as a different way. I've seen a lot of flat earthers recently in person and got to interact with them in person, like at the international conference and last night. And I think of it like this, so what David Wolf is to the medically needing person, right? So the person who needs a medical treatment or needs some kind of emotional healing or anything like that. He's there with the woo treatment for you. I think that is what what Eric Dubé is to flat earthers who are socially needy. They don't really interact socially with the rest of the world the way the rest of the world interacts with the rest of the world. They're social outliers, and I think they find comfort. Yeah, they find comfort in people like Eric Dubé, who have this smooth talking, hey, I'll accept you if you become a flat earther. People like me will accept you. And it makes it easy for them to find comfort in flat earth and flat earthers like him, because it fulfills that social need that they really aren't getting from the rest of the world in real life.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair observation.
Okay, I'm going to read out a few super chats, and then I want to discuss Sleeping Warrior and Ranty's response to something that I said. So I have a couple of new members. We've got Brown and we have Gosh of Heckfire. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining as a member. I really do appreciate it. You get to use the shiny new emojis. One of them is team attempting to whistle, so have fun with that. I'll put the whistler up so everyone can see it.
If you share that, I will disown you. Anybody that shares it gets disowned immediately.
There we go.
Unless I do it. I'm the only person that's allowed to share me whistling.
No, trying to whistle. Trying to whistle.
That was I think that attempt was one of my successful attempts.
Right, Johnny B for $5. I think I'm going to back away from the flat earth stuff. Kind of like Jerry Springer, was fun for a while. Thanks a lot, FTFE. Hey, I understand it can be overwhelming, the amount of stupidity, but we know you won't be able to stay away. We'll see you back soon. Quessa for
that's why my last video. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I was just going to respond to that, but go ahead.
Go on.
I was just going to say my last video had was completely not flat Earth. I went after Wootard Bruce Lipton and his claim that that antelope don't go around lions because lions have bad vibes.
Bad vibes, man.
No. Yeah, the antelope doesn't go around the lion because the lion smells like, like antelope steaks. That's why.
Okay, 10,000 won from Quessa. Got me fooled. Totally bravo, sir. Bravo. Yeah, just like me, first time I saw it, I was totally hook, line, and sinker. General E. Shady for $2.
I was watching the chat. I was watching the chat on that for that super chat. I was watching the chat, and the people were actually flipping out. Who is this prick?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so wrong. He's got to be kidding. This
know,
guy's
right?
not serious, is he? So yes, you can still hold the audience, even though we said at the beginning that you were joking, and we showed the video. We still got a few people. So good, bravo to you, sir. Bravo.
Thank you.
Generally Shady for $2 Australian. Flat Earth Aussie, delusional bullshit, get an education. Yeah, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus is in the chat, being dense as fuck as normal. Have fun with that. The Athens 619 for $5. I had an amazing time and should have had you sign the dinger for me, team. If I'm ever back in Dallas, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, man, I should have signed that for you. I was only joking when I said I would sign it for you because I was, you know, I'm not really famous or anything. I was just merely joking around. I was like, hey, I should sign that for you.
What do you mean you're
But
not
then
famous? You're a
walking
fucking
off,
team
I was like-
skeptic.
Right. No, walking off, I was like, damn, man, I probably should have signed it and at least put the date on it and what it was all about, you know, like
Yeah.
Nathan Thompson destroyed in Dallas or whatever, you know. But Athens, bring that next time we hang out. Bring that dinger and I'll sign it for you.
P. Barnes for $5 Australian. Etch-a-Sketch, Goldfish and Resident Evil. CGI had me convinced. Sorry, FTFE, I'm changing sides. Oh, fucking hell, Brian, you've managed to convert a Glober to a flat earther.
That's my worst fear. That's my worst fear. Leading someone down the rabbit hole by accident.
5,001 from Quessa. I guess guys like allegedly Dave also is a type of healing water salesman. Yeah, he's got a very specific type of water.
Yeah. Bitter lemonade. That's what he's marketing it as.
I just threw up a little bit. And got another new member, X-Penguin95.
Fuck.
Welcome to the Scrappers. Feel free to
Woohoo!
use the picture of team attempting to whistle. Right.
No.
Yes.
You're not allowed to do it. I'm the only one. Use Riley's shithead. That's the new one we're going for. That's the popular one, guys. Don't put me whistling. Riley's shithead. That's number one.
Right. So in my recent video, which I want to talk about my recent video for a second because I released my video I think 4 or 5 days ago, right? And it got the normal yellow money symbol, which you have to request a manual review to get it, then see if it can be remonetized. And it wasn't remonetized. But I thought that was to do with the title because I called it Scumbag Flat Earther with a picture of Nathan Oakley. And maybe that was a bit harsh for YouTube. So I took the video down, I corrected the spelling mistake, re-uploaded it with a new title, but it got demonetized again. So if anyone's wondering why there's only a few thousand views on it, it's because I had to take it down and re-upload it, and most people have already seen it. But in that video, Sleeping Warrior has been refusing to debate me for a long time because he says I'm a liar because I say that gravity is a force. He doesn't. Yeah, keep trying.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I swear I thought I was muted. I am so sorry.
The fact that you're
quit
trying
asking me to sprinkle. Oh no, because listen, I see this shit. I see this shit in the chat going on. You guys think I'm not fucking watching the chat? First off, Renee Enemy says, bet I could teach team to whistle so loud you could hear it for a couple blocks. So I respond with, challenge accepted. Then, quit asking me to sprinkle them titties comes in with, I'm calling you out. I challenge you to a whistle off. I was just trying, guys. I didn't even know. I thought I was muted.
Thought you were
I'm
muted and
sorry.
practicing. That's funny. Right, anyway, so Riley says I'm a liar because I refer to gravity as a force. We all know that gravity isn't really a force. It's the emergent property of the curvature of space-time due to the uneven distribution of mass. He doesn't understand Einsteinian and Newtonian concepts, so he says I'm a liar because I refer to gravity as a force. Because, of course, it can be calculated and assumed to be a force because it has all the properties of a force. Just because we know what it actually is doesn't mean that it can't be used as a force. So to get around this whole Sleeping Warrior won't debate me unless I agree with him, I used the phrase in the video, gravity is not a physical force. And obviously, I did that as a way to get around agreeing with Riley that gravity is not a force, so he would debate me. We all know what I'm really saying. It's why I used the word not a physical force. But Ranty, Sleeping Warrior's little butt buddy, picked it up and totally ran with it.
Gravity is not a physical force.
Burying bad news is a tried and tested way of releasing information that you would normally deem harmful. Governments are well accustomed to this technique, and on days where there is a crisis, they will often release bundles of information that would normally be headline news. However, seeing that the more shocking event will be the headline, they can sneak these things out under the radar. It seems that Fight the Flat Earth, Craig McNeil, has been taking note and has decided to bury his own bad news inside a video attacking Nathan Oakley, and at the same time releasing another video just 7 hours later. This is his way of making a concession, to which he has had his little tootsies held to the fire for over the past few months, and hoping that it will go relatively quietly into the night, with little fuss made over its damning ramifications. You see, gravity is not a force.
Mr. Dumbfuck of the Year says that he won't debate me unless I admit gravity isn't a force. Well, Riley, this is just for you. Gravity is not a physical force. There. Are you happy?
I can make flat earthers do whatever I fucking want. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Are they saying you're like the government, or are they just saying you do things like the government? I don't know. I don't know. Ranty was ranting, and you know. But anyway, was he saying that he thought that you were a part of the government, or you just
he's saying
do
that,
government tactics?
Yeah, he's saying that I do government tactics because I'm obviously a shill trying to hide the truth. And even though
By uploading the video twice.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't take it out the second time. And, you know, it's in a video that thousands of people have watched, yet apparently I'm trying to bury it where no one can see it. I mean, is Ranty really this fucking
funny.
stupid?
Oh, I got it. I see what he's saying. He was saying that you put it out and then you took it down and put it back out again so that it wouldn't get promoted by YouTube.
No,
Nobody would see.
No, he was saying that because later on the same day I had a debate. So he's saying the fact that I released the video and then had a debate later on, I was just trying to hide it, and because I, you know, just put a little bit in my video,
Talking about with Fred?
Notice. Yeah.
The debate with Fred?
Yes, with Francis.
Hashtag stop censoring Fred.
Philippe.
I swear it was so funny when I said his name and he was like, yeah, fucking great, use my name then. And I was like, wait, hold on. I didn't know that was your name, bro.
So Brian, what's your thoughts on
that psychic chi I was drinking earlier?
Brian, what's your thoughts on Ranty's response to my concession?
Honestly, it just sort of blurs out to me some of the stuff they said, like he specifically says. I just don't really take. It's just all one noise. Like,
it's just like white noise.
I've kind of had to learn to tune them out if I'm in order to do this, because it's just sanity's sake, really. I think.
Yeah.
There's only so much dribble you can hear. Do you know what I mean?
So I went on. I commented on the video, and I was like, "Oh, you realise that this is exactly what I wanted, right?" And Ranty said, "Well, are you going to come on and debate Sleeping Warrior?" So he offered for me to go on to his Ranty Round Earth and actually debate Sleeping Warrior on there. So the debate with Sleeping Warrior may still happen. I think I'll dual stream it on my channel because, you know, fuck them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can make flat earthers just... If I say a specific word in a video, I can guarantee that there will be some kind of response. There's been over 300 videos about me by flat earthers. They don't seem to like me for some reason.
Really?
Yeah. Copernicus Thinker for $3.33. FTFE team, we love you guys. We love you, random citizen. Dennis D for $2. Flat Earthers' favourite candy are Airheads. And Copernicus Thinker for $2.34. This just in, still no working Flat Earth model. No, not just no working Flat Earth model, just no Flat Earth model. They don't have a model because... Brian, why doesn't the Flat Earth have a model?
It doesn't exist. Like it's fantasy, isn't it? It's like a world map on a video game. That's what Flat Earth is. Like that's the only model that exists. It's like playing Elder Scrolls or something.
I think somebody should like make a movie about a world that the flat Earth is real. You know, the ice wall holding something back, a government that's hiding this massive truth. Imagine like that as a movie. I imagine they could make something from that. The fantasy world they live in. Wait, I've read Discworld.
There's enough sorcery in it, yeah, and imagination. That's something that I actually really admire their curiosity and imagination, to be perfectly honest. Like, aside from the ones that are just exploiting people, the actual followers, I kind of think you got to admire anyone's passion for something, regardless of what it is, as long as it's not harmless. As long as it's harmless. As long as it's not hurting anyone, right? But obviously, we've covered how the preachers are.
But that's the thing. I think Flat Earth can hurt people because.
Yeah.
Let's think about the people that fall for Flat Earth, right? And it is the vulnerable people, the people that genuinely don't know better. All right, we know that most of the people at the top, the Eric DeBays, the Nathan Oakleys, that they're fucking lying. But the people that fall for it are the people that genuinely don't know any better, like Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, who is, for some reason, too stupid to actually realize that he's being lied to by these people. And it's almost sad.
It is, and I think everyone feels like this about this particular topic. The one that really upsets me is when you're a child, you're literally forming your opinion and your perception of the world based on what your parents tell you and the respected adults and the people you look up to. And when you see a video of like a child being really infatuated with said nonsense, it's like, they're not going to develop the social skills. If you want school I went to, if you wore the wrong trainers, you got the piss taken out of you constantly. Like, that's just Britain. But imagine if you're going around telling people the Earth is flat when you're 10. Like, they're going to actually grow up having some serious social issues. Like, a friend of mine works with one, and
my sister-in-law
the only reason he
works
wasn't fired. Sorry?
My sister-in-law works with one.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't met the guy myself, but apparently, like, my friend had to actually go to the boss in the end and say, "Look, I've got to quit." You know, we're like, "Why?" He said, "Well, this guy was actually like their family. So he didn't want to be disrespectful. So he just like, and they said, it's I think his name was Dan or something." He said, "It's Dan, isn't it? He's talking that nonsense again." Like, yeah, he is. Like, and they called him in the office and was like berated him. Really, it was like, "Listen, like, this is like the sixth person that's tried to quit because of you. You should keep going on about this nonsense. Like, either shut up or get help. Like, you can't work here like doing this sort of thing." And
Professor Phil Bell says that you do have a flat earther look, though.
Yeah, I like to think that I put off the stupid quite well. Like,
yeah, absolutely. This is why I totally bought it. Like, I remember because I think you tweeted me the video, and I responded with something like, "Did you just give me some material to debunk, you fucking idiot?"
Yeah.
Before I realized that you were joking.
Ding.
Yeah, ding.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I never
Hey,
intended to try
Brian, we have a serious question for the chat from the chat for you. Can you do your best airplane sound impression?
Airplane sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
what sound does an airplane make?
I nearly went choo choo then, but that's a train.
That's a train. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll try and work that into the next episode or an episode.
All right then.
No, hey, do you have access to the live chat? They're helping you out.
No, not with yourself. I've got that.
Just make a bunch of Z sounds. Oh, I'm sorry, Z sounds.
Yes.
Actually, what am I talking about? I regularly like get people to give me an aeroplane when I'm having food. So.
Oh, controversial. Leaving the Z's behind. We had a flat earther on called Philippe, I think it was, and his proof that the Earth was flat was that he made some airplane sounds and showed me a level.
I mean,
yeah, his airplane sounds
really
was.
All right,
If that's lazy satire, I'm annoyed.
I know. H2O Water asks me in the chat, are you going to address the point that Oakley says that there needs to be a container in order for gas pressure to exist, but yet he will not say that he thinks there is a dome or container? Well, I think Nathan Oakley's exact words were, beyond the fact that we experience gas pressure which needs a container, he has no idea what the sky is. But that's because he has such a basic understanding of physical laws. Like, Oakley and Sleeping Warrior especially push this whole, well, outer space and gas pressure is a second law of thermodynamics violation. But that's purely because they have no idea what the second law of thermodynamics actually is. In their toddler-like mental midget mind, the second law of thermodynamics simply means that high pressure goes to low pressure. But that's not what it is. The second law of thermodynamics means that the total entropy of an enclosed system will always increase over time. And it's simply that. It's nothing really to do with high pressure going to low pressure. It's just about the natural progression of entropy in an isolated system. And Earth isn't an isolated system. They don't understand that.
Yeah, that's one of the things
wrong.
yesterday that frustrated me. That's one of the things that frustrated me yesterday in the debate was that he brought those points up and we never got to them because he could not leave. Look how far I can see away. Even when I kept telling him, dude, I'm not going to accept that evidence because you're not telling me, you're not exclusively showing me that it's not possible on a globe Earth. I don't want to hear that evidence. Let's talk about like things that we can really discuss and use as proofs. And he didn't want to leave that. But one of the things he was talking about was the laws of thermodynamics. He talked about the need for a barrier. Didn't get to any of that stuff because of, time constraints and a little bit with the internet connection.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't get I wanted to take I wanted to wear my mankini for the people live. But we ran out of time.
Yeah, you ran out of time. That was a shame. But the thing is, lately I've kind of blown that apart with the whole gas pressure needed a container, because I'm using the example of the inside of a nuclear fusion reactor chamber, which is a vacuum chamber of 10 to the negative 11 torr, and just using some clever electrical charges, they have an area of ionized gas pressure inside that vacuum, and that's literally how fusion occurs. So you absolutely can have gas pressure next to a vacuum without a physical barrier or container. Because not all forces are physical. There is invisible forces. Call them apparent forces, emergent forces, whatever you want. They're still a force that we can measure, but it doesn't mean that there's actually a physical force there. It's just the consequence of something else happening. Oh man, I've gone through this so many times with flat earthers. They still don't get it.
Yeah, and it was put out to me really well the other day with one of somebody on Discord, and they were explaining to me, they were helping me with the last video I did, where we not the last Bruce Lipton video, but the one before that, the gravity video where the flat earthers were talking about the gravitron and whatnot, and I was explaining to them that, he put it to me really well. He was like, think of it like a skateboarder at the top of a half pipe, right? So let's say he goes off the top of the half pipe. Well, he'll never be able to go, and we can remove friction, we can remove everything, right? We'll just say it's just the force of gravity, and we're talking about potential and kinetic energy and whatnot, right? So as the only amount of energy, if he doesn't add any energy on his way down except for what gravity provides, then at the bottom he's only going to have a certain amount of energy that will only allow him to get so high up going in the opposite direction. So we can say that if the half pipe on one side was higher than the half pipe on the other side, then that higher amount is a physical barrier. Whether it's looked at in the sense of it being a container or not, what is containing it is the lack of kinetic energy at the surface of the Earth for the individual air molecules. They don't have enough kinetic energy to get above the barrier that exists, that is the gravitational pull of the Earth.
Yeah, but that's because flat earthers are fucking idiots.
Ding.
Thank you. I literally can't say idiot without someone having to follow up with ding. Even my son, whenever I say idiot now, he turns around and goes ding. He doesn't know why. It's just because I've done it so many times. For $2, Dennis D
so
says...
somebody wanted us to ask... Go ahead.
Sorry, but Dennis D says, I wonder if anyone thinks the Earth is a cylinder. Well, some flat earthers must think the Earth is a cylinder because they ask for left to right curve. All right, what were you going to say, team?
Dumb. I was going to say that we did have a request for Brian to take the litmus test.
Yes. Do you want to start it off?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and get in character, Brian. I'm sorry, conspiracist.
You have to familiarize
you
me.
flat Earth idiot.
Well, this is
we're gonna ask you a couple of questions here, okay?
These are some questions that we
10 to the negatives.
Sorry, these are some questions that we ask flat earthers to test their ability to debunk science to see if they know some basic things. So on you go, team.
Okay.
All right. So is 10 to the negative 17th a positive or negative number?
You've lost me.
We said some numbers and he gave up.
I love it.
Okay, so Brian,
okay.
I have a triangle of sides 1, 1, and 1. What are the internal angles?
I haven't got a clue.
That's the most honest flat earth answer I've ever heard.
Triangles don't exist.
Triangles don't... Ow.
No.
Ow. Right, okay.
No.
All right.
No, they're just like... I see the confusion. They're subpath squares. They're three-sided squares. It's a common misconception.
Ah, right. That makes sense. Okay, Brian, what do you get if you divide 5 by 0?
7.
And that's the correct answer. Good job.
We've had all kinds of answers to that. I've had that the internal angles are 180 degrees each. I've had the internal angles are about 45. I've had that 5 divided by 0
about
is definitely
45,
about 45. Yeah, 5 divided by 0 is definitely 0. No, it's undefined.
Yeah, that one cracked me up when I saw that live. I was like, hang on a minute. Like, I knew that when I was 4.
No, he said it was 5, right? 5 divided by 0 is 5.
Oh yeah, that's what not Fred, the one before that said.
I thought that's what Riley said was 5 divided by 0
Riley
was 5.
said 5 divided by 0 is 5. Riley said so much stupid that it all just blurs into one big ball of numptiness.
I'm still kind of salty about Dumb Fuck of the Year.
Well,
I think fucking Conspiracist should have won it.
Well, do you think that you're gonna have a run-in for Dumb Fuck of the Year 2020?
Yeah, I like to think so. I've got a UK tour plan for the next series. I've got to take a bit of a break because I feel like it's quite... if I try to push one out every week or 2 out every week, it'll just get a bit samey doing it on my own. The Office wouldn't have been very good at all if it was only David Brent. I've got to think of it as bringing other locations and other scenarios into it. So I'm, next year... No, this year now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
This summer, I'm going to go around the UK and look for some other conspiracies.
Well, I hope we can meet up when you come to Scotland. I definitely like to meet a real life flat earther.
Brian, have you? Have you ever thought about going to the Bedford Levels and recreating that experiment and maybe possibly taking a bath while you're there?
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. I've got a lot less Monster. I'm going to go to Sarcastic Barman's pub and have a chat with him. Stonehenge, because that's all I can think of at the moment, basically.
What have you got against Sweetcorn?
Yeah. That's just been a running joke, to be honest with you. I've just been chatting that nonsense behind the bar for so long, just to make customers laugh. I've worked in loads of places like Zante and Ibiza, Palaraki, Malia, all these trashy resorts where I don't even remember it, but I just get so drunk and start spouting random nonsense. so I'm well practiced for this. But yeah, it's just a joke I've always had. I've got nothing against sweet corn. Don't particularly like it. There was a deleted scene where I've got a friend. She's a professional social media marketing person, and she said don't put that one online because it was me eating sweet corn and then examining the results, not physically examining the results the next day, but that was the narrative. I didn't actually go in the toilet, but she was like, yeah, maybe don't put that one in.
Yeah.
That's for the future.
I don't,
That's the lost tapes that I'll put on later on.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of genetically modified sweet corn they have up in wherever you're from, but even the sweet corn that I fucking eat down here in Texas, it doesn't matter whether you crush it up or not. It comes back out fully formed and shiny.
Yeah, it's like it hasn't even been chewed. I swear I chewed my food.
I know. Right. Something suspicious about it. Like it's upset a few people. I don't think they're being serious. But some people are getting quite defensive about sweet corn. It's like, well, I don't mean it. They're just words.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of other worse jokes in this world than attacking sweet corn. But it's one of them. I'll tell you what didn't go down very well. Like, I nearly issued a retraction for this one. It was Star Wars, Star Trek joke, where I flippantly said they were the same thing. And so I got some backlash.
All right, I'm just going to kick you off the panel now. Bear with me one sec.
Yeah, I apologise.
Nah, he's allowed to stay. You have my permission.
Yeah, team says what goes on my channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, so it is only 19-20 days into the new year, but there's already been a lot of stupid flat earth stuff. What is the dumbest flat earth argument that you've ever heard?
I'm a fan of the basic ones, to put it in those terms. I really like the it's one of the ones that sort of triggered me to, or inspired me to do this character. It was quite a young lad, and he was just, well, he was like his late teens, and he was holding a lemon, he was pouring water all over it, just deadly serious, and I was like, he's got to be taking the piss. He's got to be. Hang on, that's a good idea. Just pouring water onto something like that and going, see?
The classic Dell pouring water onto a ball in his backyard and going, it doesn't seem to be mounding up to the shape of the ball. No, you fucking idiot. It really doesn't, does it?
No, there's so many special experiments that they've got, but that's just because it's so basic and simple.
Special experiments, that is such a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's just, it writes itself, to be honest with you. Like the first episode, I actually just watched quite a bit of Behind the Curve a few times again, and I was just like, that was deliberate. Like the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, I was trying to leave people guessing whether I was serious or not. But if you were to watch them parallel to each other, it's not line for line, but I've deliberately opened it the same way that Behind the Curve was opened, with Mark Sargent going, see, science just keeps going maths us. And it's those really simple things that I was just like, it writes itself. It's really not hard. I can improv quite a bit of it now, which is slightly worrying. I've managed to get into this mindset too easily, but
I think I'd like to see you do it live in like a comedy show type thing. That'd be good.
I've been encouraged to. I've got a friend he's a professional stand-up, and he keeps saying, "Please just come down to the open mic and get some practice." And I was like, "Well, I could do a flat Earth bit," and he was like, "Yeah, do that. You know about it." But then I put some bits by him, and he was like, "You've got, I think I need to start. It's something to build up to, basically, doing stand-up, but because you could get a really bad audience in your first one, and it put you off, So I'm going to write something different and practice that sort of thing, and maybe evolve it into that.
I felt like last night was doing stand-up for a bunch of flat earthers.
What was that like, team, to be in the den of wolves with so many flat earthers around you?
I was completely in my element. Didn't bother me at all. They were lovely, peaceful people. Idiots, but fucking lovely, peaceful people. Oh man, one of the tattoo artists, one of the tattoo artists that was there, he told me, he was telling me a story about how he was outside doing speech to text on his phone, and he was like, "Damn," so he's like, "Some of these flat earthers here are pretty cute," and I was like, "Oh really?" He's like, "Yeah," he goes, "But they don't like me, I'm sure." And I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, I was standing outside and I was speaking to somebody on the phone," and he was like, "Yeah, they're here to watch a bunch of these fucking flat earth idiots." And of course they all know my shit. So he was just texting somebody else and said that. And he was like, he was talking to this girl and she was all like into the conversation. The moment he said that, she just walked off away from him. And he was like, "Oh wow, that was unexpected." And then he saw her later in the evening and saw her over there hanging out with the flat earthers.
There's so many stupid flat Earth like tropes that they have. Like the water always finds its level and stuff like that. I think the
well,
dumbest.
Hold on. Yeah, you know what? I want to point something out that Flat Earth Aussie Jesus is bringing up out there because I asked a question. He says that gravity is nothing more than density and buoyancy. Okay, and
No,
that
it's
an
not.
object with mass will fall unless it meets resistance. So my question for him is, if you set just a piece of ice, go into your freezer, go to your neighbor's house without him knowing, pull out a piece of ice and stick it in a glass of water. Water or ice is less dense than water. So no point of the ice should go into the water. It should all be sitting right on top of the water. If the ice sinks even a little bit inside of the water, you need to explain that. If you can't explain it, if you say density, then I'm saying why? What does that matter? What does density mean? Why doesn't the ice continue to fall all the way to the bottom? Even if it moves slow, why doesn't it continue to go all the way to the bottom? It floats on top, but it doesn't sit on top. It floats on top. A little bit of it is under the water. Why?
Yeah, but team, let's not
You can
forget.
explain that without gravity, I'll accept it.
Let's not forget the Flat Earth Aussie Jesus is the person that said the moon was dug out of the Grand Canyon by giants, filled with helium, and put in the sky to mock us for worshipping the sun itself being an interdimensional portal. So we don't really need to take anything that Flat Earth Aussie Jesus says with any kind of seriousness. He has some kind of mental deficiency, and he can have his little fun in the chat because it makes him feel special. I'm sure he'll tucker himself out soon.
So he writes himself.
Yeah, it does. I think I could do some kind of Flat Earth stand-up, just talk about the interactions that I've had with Flat Earthers.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's such a catalogue.
Glober's mum says, "Can you tell Brian hello for me?" So Glober's mum says hello.
Hi, Clover Mum. Clover Mum, she helped me out a lot when I first launched the channel, so I'm very grateful. So if anyone hasn't subscribed to Clover Mum that's listening,
yes, please do also subscribe to Glober Mum. We're going to start wrapping it up soon, guys. But I'd just like to open up the chat. Any questions that you have for truth researcher Brian Kirby, please feel free. But
yes, and while they get their questions into the chat, I'll have one for him to start answering. Now we talked about this earlier before we started. I would really like to see you do more of the different conspiracies and approach it the exact same way. Just make it your character, and I think you could be highly successful for that. I really enjoy your videos, and I think they're fucking funny. It's a nice breath of fresh air to be watching a bunch of Flat Earth videos and have one that's so dumb because it's intended to be that way. It's written to be that way. It's written to mock the Flat Earthers, and I think you do a wonderful job. So don't stop. Do you have any plans to do anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be a film writer, right? Of serious films, but not exclusively serious films. But I realised that I needed to do something first before I can get into the industry and stuff. And I was trying to think, what can I do with my facilities? And the first 8 episodes were done on my smartphone, literally with a selfie stick. Like because I'm doing this through my phone, I haven't got a tripod for my phone. I've literally got a pot of protein powder with a selfie stick taped to it. Like, so my facilities are terrible, but I've now got better equipment, so I can start doing more of my ideas. And this year, I'm going to be going around the UK, visiting a few people, having a few cameos. Like, Craig's up for getting involved and appearing. I can come up there. In an ideal world, I would be able to get some funding to go around Europe a bit and America. Just pop over with a friend, rent out a car, and just sort of drive a few routes, having a look at bits and bobs. I mean, the first idea was to do it as well. That's why he's the Conspiracist. I wanted to cover a few things, and there are a few other conspiracies I do mention, but I usually touch on them and come back to Flat Earth because it is just so fundamentally easy.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's not just.
I'd really like to see a vaccine one. I want to see you do a vaccine one, man. I could imagine how funny that would be.
I made a joke about vaccines because it was so brazen. That was probably the point in the first episode. People were like, "Well, he's definitely joking." But there's a few topics I don't want to talk about because various reasons. One of them slightly is vaccines, because I would hate to be the cause of someone being an anti-vaxxer by mistake. Like, that's something I'm actually conscious of with Flat Earth anyway. But there's a difference between accidentally making someone ponder the shape of the Earth and accidentally deciding they're not going to vaccinate children. 9/11 is one I won't talk about as well, just out of respect, really. No other reason. That's pretty much the main reason. I wouldn't feel right making jokes.
Yeah,
I
could see not doing it over like the people that claim false flags or 9/11. I could see not covering that. There's so many there's ghost hunting conspiracy, or not conspiracies, but like ghost hunters out there. There's somebody that I'm getting ready to cover, a Skype exorcist. Like, you could definitely play the role of a Skype exorcist, I think.
Yeah. I mean, anything that's relatively harmless. Like, if I do get to come to America, I'll go to Area 51 and make some nonsense up. Like, obviously, I won't get too close. I'll go to New Mexico, Roswell. I'll make stuff up as well, obviously, because that's actually what I do. I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm doing it for the sake of it. Like, I wouldn't do this if I didn't enjoy it and B didn't feel like I was putting out good content. I'm not going to carry on doing 7 series because people are watching still. It's not about, although it is about me getting the views, I want a career in acting and writing. So, and I always believe in the best series are things. Look what happened to Red Dwarf. I don't know if you had Red Dwarf in America as much as we had it here growing up, but Craig will know.
Yeah, I was raised on Red Dwarf.
Terrible after 6 seasons.
Yeah.
The first 4 series were brilliant, but I would hate to be a Red Dwarf. I'd rather stick as an office or something like that, and people just do nothing. It's going to go that way as well if they do too many more. But yeah, I have got plans to do other conspiracies, other characters as well. Like, I will write. I'll write a different character in different fields. I've sort of been toying with some stuff lately. I used to do a bit of voiceover stuff as well. That's something I might, in between series 1 and series 2, I might just do some voiceover stuff on a separate channel. I didn't want to mix the conspiracy stuff too much. I wanted it to be like a streaming service. Like, when you go on any streaming platform and theve got a catalogue of episodes, I want it to feel like that. But there is so many other things I can do with, chemtrails. I've touched on it before. I haven't actually done the moon landing. Sorry, I've done. Oh no, this was a deleted scene as well. I did one about storming Area 51, but that hasn't made it in just purely because it didn't fit with the editing at the time. But there's been other things I've written along those lines. Like I say, I'm not gonna saturate it. I just want to do what feels like I'm proud of still.
Yeah, you never want to feel forced to do it.
That's it. And I think if I didn't take a break between series 1 and series 2, then I'm going to do it, like I say, ideally series 3.
It takes me a while to make a video because, like, it's very hard to make the same thing constantly funny. So I need to have a little break between making my videos because, there's a lot, especially now I've got special effects and stuff, a lot goes into making one of my videos. Like, and if I was to just pump out 2, 3 constantly every week, I think I would burn myself and the audience out. I do want to put out maybe slightly more videos than I have been doing. Now the kids are all back at school and everything, I'll be able to do that. But like, yeah, it's important not to burn yourself out and to do things at a level that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, you've definitely got to take it at the right pace.
Yeah.
And recognise when it's very easy for people to lie to themselves and go, no, everyone's still enjoying it. And you get the loyal people, the people that have been watching. I know there's some people that watch an episode every now and again. There's some people that pick it up. They miss 4 episodes and they watch it all again later. But there's some people that are there every premiere or every upload. And you'll get them people, and I'm really grateful for everyone that's been really supportive and, you know, commented and posted me and plugged me and mirrored me and stuff like that. It's helped me get decent basic stuff quite quickly. But I wouldn't want to feel. I feel a bit. I feel a bit wrong, even if I like getting the view time for the sake of it off of people that have been so loyal to me. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to be. It's got to be the intended purpose as well. Like for people who have seen everything, like, I've deliberately written a narrative about. You know, if you look at Brian compared to some flat earthers, and this is why I think he's more like Mark Sargent than he's crossed between Mark Sargent and. No one specific, but basically quite a lonely flat earther. And I wanted that to be part of the narrative because he's not an arsehole, because I think most of them are. And it's actually like, I think it was episode 6, he's sitting there at the end on his own, sort of talking about how much of it's his calling in life and like how I didn't do this, I don't know what I'd do, kind of thing. And it's like, I'm meant to have that. I wanted to have that narrative expressed as well, and also in the one about politics. That's my least favourite one personally, but it's got some important information in it as far as the narrative goes. Because obviously, with a natural distrust in government that conspiracy theorists would have, no one ever comes up with an alternative solution to a corrupt government and how they should run the world. Capitalism is a really bad idea. Communism can't work. I'm a big believer in social enterprise. And I deliberately wrote the character to have that idea himself, so people might maybe think, hang on a minute, he's wrong about everything else, but that might work actually, you know. And that's something I definitely want to explore myself, social enterprise, and try and push that concept a bit more. It's not really heard of too much, but it's the answer to a lot of, I don't know, societal problems. I'm quite big on caring the community, like outside of doing YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like to get behind such projects.
All right, questions from the chat. Chrismer asks about vaccines, because they have a lot of mercury in them and that is paramagnetic. Is it true that they make you more prone to being run over by cars?
Yes.
Thank you, Chrismer. Definitive there. Right, let me go in. I had a bunch of questions and then the chat's just fucking jumped. Let me go back and find some more. Guys, if you wouldn't mind tagging me at FTFE so I can see anything you're trying to put in there. We've got a few people saying that Red Dwarf absolutely rules. Thoughts by J Browns asks, did you answer the triangle question? Your answer, I think, was you haven't a clue, which is pretty standard for flat earthers.
Yeah.
But
just ignore it, I've said that, that's the point.
Yeah.
That doesn't devalue my opinion. Just for the record, I do love Red Dwarf. I watch it loads, even the bad series. But no one can deny that after a point it got embarrassing.
Yeah. Although I think I still enjoy watching them.
I still do as well. But Robert Llewellyn, when he became one of the writers, it lost its edge.
So Flat Earth Aussie Jesus says, is it true that craters on the moon are there because it was molten metal bursting and settling?
Moon doesn't exist, mate.
So what is the moon?
It's a golf ball. It's a golf ball that went into orbit and never came down again. Because we can only see it through a telescope, it looks massive.
I can't argue with that. I think there is a possible flat earther in the chat. Team Slapstick says a molten iron core is claimed to be magnetic. Well, it's also at the temperature that's 5 times past the Curie point of iron. That's hilariously bad. Yeah, I'll just respond to that. First of all, the Curie point it only applies to solid metal, not molten metal. And also, nobody claims that the molten iron core is the thing that causes Earth's magnetic field. That's actually due to convection currents in the outer core, because pressure gets released in cracks in the mantle, causes convection currents, friction, which causes static electricity, which causes the Earth's magnetic field. It's nothing to do with the rotating iron core. That wasn't for you, Brian. That was just a stupid flat earther that I went to school.
I don't think the team. I think the Team Slapstick person said earlier that they weren't a flat earther. They don't see why they can't question the heliocentric model or whatever. But at the same time, you're being a flat earther, so
yeah, absolutely.
You can call it how you want, but we're gonna call it for what it is. You're asking the same fucking dumbass question. Hey, here's a question for you, Team Slapstick. Does brain material emit a magnetic field? When you understand why the brain material doesn't emit a magnetic field, but the brain itself does emit it and how it emits it, you'll have the answer to your other question, how it's possible. Or at least where to start. It's not the same process or anything, but it's due to the electrical currents that are moving in the brain that cause a magnetic field to become active. Because where you have an electric current, you have a magnetic field.
Todd L says, it's cold outside, there's no kind of atmosphere. How do you respond to that, Brian?
We're all alone, more or less.
Let me lie, far away from here. Fun. In the sun. I fucking love Red Dwarf. Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. Right, we've been going for about an hour and a half, close to hour and 3/4, guys. So I'm going to read the few super chats that are left, and then we're going to get out of here for tonight. I've had a lot of fun the past few days. Enjoyed watching Team yesterday destroy Nathan live, and I've really enjoyed having the Conspiracist on tonight. And I would thoroughly encourage anybody watching to go and subscribe to the Conspiracist. The link to his channel is in the description. So I'm going to read the last few super chats, then I'm going to let the Conspiracist have a few minutes to shit himself out, and then we get out of here for tonight. So Dennis D says he's smoking in his house like a flat earther, and then Dennis D says Flerfs heads have helium so they don't get gravity. Copernicus Thinker for $2 says Flat Earth Aussie Jesus is informally banned from Glober channel panels. Yes, he's not allowed back on because he's not right, and I feel bad pointing and laughing.
I saw some really hateful shit he said the other day. Really hateful shit, and I can't get behind that, man.
Yeah.
Listen here, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, you need to learn to fucking be just a better person in general, aside from the Flat Earth, Globe Earth stuff. I saw some really fucking hateful shit you said to somebody about, I can't remember if it was about their illness or an illness to their child, and you were like, it's your fault, and come on, man, that's a piece of shit thing to say.
Yeah.
And there's no way that I'll ever fucking get behind a piece of shit person saying that, so don't be a dickhead.
And also, the moon wasn't made by giants. Giants weren't a thing, you fucking mental patient. Okay, Copernicus Thinker for $2 says Cookie, who is my cat you could hear meowing in the background, is 10 times smarter than Flat Earth Aussie Jesus. That's a bit mean to Cookie. She's way smarter than that. Eldon S, 200 Nokias. Thank you very much for truth. Yes, all about truth. Glass Monster for $2 Canadian. Remember, Down Under does not on a flat Earth. Yeah, flat Earth maps and Australia don't work out really because, and let me tell this to all you idiot flat Earthers that think the AE map is a good representation of the Earth. Australia is not 3 times the size of Canada. All right, it's just a simple fact. Quessa for 5,000 won. Personally, I really love the Charlie Brown teacher talk going, wow, that was fun, FTFE. Yeah, that is the most sense that Flat Earthers make in my Flat Earth classroom when they're talking like that. And Eldon S, 500 Nokias. thank you very much. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these Nokias. They can't be destroyed. Just because I really do appreciate the super chats. Your guys' generosity with super chats and being members and patrons is what allows me to continue this channel. So it means the world that you do support me in that way. But if you are not able to support me in super chats, you can always help the channel by sharing on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Bebo, MySpace. You know, those fridges that have inbuilt browsers, just put them up on there and stuff. Anywhere, just share, and that helps almost as much as people that do in super chats. And the fact that you are here to watch me talk shit and argue with flat earthers means the world. So before we pass it over to Brian, team, any final words?
Yeah, I think we'll be doing an after show on my channel tomorrow for the debate. And I think I was kind of vague in describing something when one of the flat earthers asked me a question, and it was a really good question. And the question was, how would I be able to tell the distance to the sun if I needed to do it? And I actually know a method of determining the distance to the sun. So I was thinking about, if I don't have the presentation done by tomorrow, then I'll probably have it done by like Wednesday or something. And I'll show anybody how they can use observational data from satellites to determine the distance to the sun. And we don't have to, we're not even going to rely on the echo, the echo from Venus that gives us almost a precise measurement to the planet. But what we'll do is, once I have the whole presentation done, I'm going to bring in Kepler's laws. I'm going to put it all down on paper so we can just talk about it, and I can show you how you can measure the distance to the sun without relying on NASA or anything else.
Okay, awesome. Right, guys, so we're going to be getting out of here in a few minutes. I'm just going to pass you over to truth researcher Brian Curvey to shit out his channel and just tell you where you guys can find him. Brian, over to you.
Thanks very much. I just want to say, first of all, thanks for having me on tonight.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much for everyone that's been, supporting me from day one, like Toon, Bill Blacker, Tommy Gonvold, and Glover Mum in particular. I'm here to bring a laugh. Like, I have no hatred towards anyone. I'm here to write stuff and entertain. And as long as everyone's enjoying it, I'll keep doing it. Any sharing on any platform, I'm so grateful. I don't have the same luxury of doing the sort of call to action and make sure you subscribe and stuff like that as other people do. So all those extra shares and stuff are even more important to me and more valuable to me than they would be if I could have my own facility. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm really grateful for everyone that already does and for everyone that can do so. I look forward to seeing you in my comments and in my views in the future.
Yeah, as I said, guys, you can find the Conspiracist channel, a link to it in the description of this video. Please do share with your friends, and if you want a binge watch, then seriously, it's one of the funniest channels that I've found in a long time. But we are out of here for tonight, guys. Tomorrow on Team Skeptic's channel, there will be an after show for his live debate with Nathan Thompson, which was yesterday on the Modern Day Debate channel. And then on Monday, we'll be back on my channel with the final round between me and Flat Ferdinand and his plane noises. Zoom. Yeah, because he's a special character. I'm going to see how many names we can get past him before he gets really angry. But we are out of here for tonight, guys. Make sure you have a wonderful weekend. And remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.